Okay, well, it's 6 o'clock, and today is January 21st, and so welcome to the Addison Township Board meeting. We're located at 1440 Rochester Road in Leonard, and if we could all stand for the pledge, we'll get started. And do we have any veterans? Any veteran? If you would start with the pledge, we would appreciate it very much. Yeah, go right ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing.
Let us pray. Lord God, we come before you this evening and acknowledge our dependence on you. We know it's not in us to direct our own steps. We need your wisdom and guidance. Lord, we thank you for this new year. We thank you for the board members, the fire department, police department, and our willingness to serve Addison Township. We ask that you bless each one of us and guide us in our decisions here tonight, and we pray for your favor on tonight's meeting. We pray for the spirit of unity and cooperation that is seen in America and our allies. I pray that your wisdom will be done here in Addison Township. We ask all things in your almighty name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, could we have roll call, please?
Yes. Ed Brakefield.
Here.
Karen Geibel.
Here.
Mary Frost. Here. Linda Garrick, absent and excused. Treasurer McDonald.
Here.
Bennett, present. Supervisor Pearson.
Present. Okay, so we just have one that is excused. Okay, I think we're going to start out, first of all, with the announcements and department reports. So, Chief, do you have an announcement?
Yes, I sure do. Good evening. We have a special day here I wanted to recognize. The Township of Addison in Oakland County, Michigan, in conjunction with Addison Township Fire Department, wish to commend an outstanding resident of our township, Chase Kapinski, who performed a life-saving and fearless action for the benefit of others in our community. On December 26, 2024, two visitors were ice fishing on Lake George. While approximately 180 feet from shore, both visitors fell through the ice and began struggling to save themselves. Chase, whose property is adjacent to the lake, upon hearing the cries for help, immediately acted with his wife to contact 911. Chase then launched two personal kayaks, one of which allowed the younger victim to self-rescue. Chase then used the other kayak to reach the other victim, who was unconscious and held his head above water until the fire department arrived. Once the first responders arrived, they were able to rescue him from the ice and start CPR. The unconscious victim was treated and revived en route to the hospital. The other victim was also treated and transported. So Chase, do you mind standing up for a minute, please? So the Township of Addison, in conjunction with the Addison Township Fire Department, hereby declares and recognizes Mr. Chase Kapinski for his quick thinking and fearless action in saving the lives of two victims, and award him this Citizens Bravery Accommodation Citation that is so richly deserved. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I just want to say a couple words about this. I've known Chase because Chase became one of the rangers at the Parks Division. So I've had an occasion to meet this young man. I'm very impressed by him. I don't think any of us can imagine what he saw and how he reacted. I look at it this way: this is a great honor for us to be honoring you. As you know, I was in police work for 33 years, and it's very few times that we get to honor a citizen for actually risking his life I mean, would the rest of us, if we saw the exact same thing, would we have reacted the same way? I do not know. But it was by God's grace that you were there, because you did react. And for that, I think all the citizens of Addison Township, we thank you and we honor you for that. I mean, very few times have I ever been able to say that I know somebody who actually risked their life as a citizen to save someone else. So you're among the few, and we thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And I just want to say that we're very humbled by this also. I mean, this is something that you rarely see. And for us to honor you this way is very, very rare. But thank you so very much. And we're very glad that you live in our township. And I'm very glad that you're on the Park Commission. Thank you.
Amen.
Yes, I just want to say it is very difficult to come here because it was the tragedy, and the days following it were equally as tragic. But I just want to say thank you very much for feeling that I deserve this. I really just did what I could do, and I truly believe that anybody in that situation would try to do their absolute best as well. I also just really want to thank our first responders. They got there so fast and they did so much, and right after that call they were on to the next one, and they deserve just more recognition even than that. So thank you all very much.
Well, thank you very much. Well, now I have a presentation for the fire department. This is a certificate of recognition presented to the Addison Township Fire Department. Whereas the Township of Addison hereby recognizes the Addison Township Fire Department members who risk their lives to keep our homes and communities safe from the damaging and hazardous events that potentially threaten our lives and theirs. And whereas the Township of Addison recognizes your bravery and willingness to serve others at the expense of yourself. Now it be resolved, the Township of Addison awards you, the Addison Township Fire Department members, for your service of brave hearts, strong minds, and strong hands. And this is presented on the 21st day of January 2025. And on behalf of the Addison Township Board, we proclaim our appreciation for your dedication and strength to the township. Thank you very, very much.
And one little quick thing after that. I'd like to thank the Township Board and all the residents of Addison Township for their support with the millage request that we asked for. I know it's a pain to pay taxes. I live here too, and as you know, that tax money is used in the best way it can. I pride myself on that, and I really want to make sure that the residents know we don't waste any money. This support maintains a well-equipped and highly trained fire department to ensure the safety and well-being of Addison Township residents, and to be at the ready for any call that the residents may need in Addison Township. So again, thank you for the residents. I can't thank enough for the residents supporting us and the Township Board. So thank you. You're the ones that need to thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Gonna give it to him.
Pardon?
I'm gonna give it to
One other thing I have.
Chief, could I give this to you right now so that you can
Hang it up.
hold that up?
Hang it up.
Well, hang it up.
So we do have just one little thing to go through again, and I wanted to take this time and would like to I would like to take this time and show my pride in our actions of our fire department members on that day. It was a stressful call, and I'm very pleased that with our training and dedication, we were able to accomplish a life-saving ice rescue operation. I have two members that stood out from that incident. I have two members that stood out from that incident. Addison Township Fire Department would like to award the following members for their bravery on an ice rescue incident. On 12/26/2024, These members utilize their training and strengths to the highest degree without fear of performing life-saving actions. Mitchell and Ashley, can you come over here, please? Just as we recognize Chase for him to be able to act, I've been on for 31 years on the Addison Township Fire Department, and I have yet had an incident where I was able to act like you were, or these two. So I think that needs to be recognized. So today, we recognize Ashley Morawski and Mitchell Morawski and award them the second highest fire department award, the Citation for Bravery. Ashley?
Let me get this straight. Are they all Morawskis?
It just so happened that way. Thank you. And they were the ones, if anybody remembers, and I know Chase does, he was glad to see them there. They actually put on the Mustang suits, the cold weather suits, and with a rope and went out there without hesitation, go out there in that ice and risk their lives to save somebody. So that was the amazing part. We just stayed on the shore pulling them in with a rope, so we were safe, but they were the ones that did that and helped them chase. So that's why we, and the dedication to the whole fire department, because we had multiple calls going on that day. And people ask, why do you guys have 2 ambulances? Well, we do have multiple calls a lot of times, and this was one of those incidences where 2 ambulances was needed, right? And then right after that, we had another call, and then we had another call. So we had 4 calls that day, almost back to back, and we were able to manage it with the fire department that you guys support.
And I just want to remind everybody that Lake George is a kettle lake. That means it was formed by the glaciers. So it's not a shallow lake. It's 100 feet in the center at least in some of the areas there. Yes, and so when that's why I can't fathom if the rest of us had seen something like that, what we would have done, because you're out there basically in the Arctic, okay? But anyways, very good. Okay, let me see here. And this is a very rare time that the whole fire department can be here, that we can honor them, because usually there'd be a call right about halfway through this, okay, and they'd be up and running. This has happened before, so unless somebody turned the radios off, I don't know. But thank you very much, and I don't know if the fire department wants to stay or whatever, but I would just like for the board to stand, and we'd like to honor you, and if you want to leave, you can, or whatever, but thank you very much. And this is, yeah. So, and we'll get on with the regular business now of the township, so if anybody does not want to stay, you don't have to hear the boring stuff that we sometimes have to go through. But thank you so very much for showing up, and thank you very much, Chase. Thank you. Okay, if we could, I think we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda to add appointment to the PC and the Park Committee, and also, those are 3-year terms, and then also an alternate to SEMCOG. There are time constraints on those, so let's amend that agenda.
Okay, you make the motion, and you have a second?
I'll support.
Okay, so we have motion and we have support. Anybody have any questions on that? We have roll call on that, please.
Yes. Karen Geibel?
Yes.
Ed Brakefield?
Yes?
Mike McDonald?
Yes.
Mary Frost?
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson?
Yes, okay, so item number 10 is added. Okay, we'll go on to the consent agenda.
Yes, not too much on the consent agenda this month. It's the approval of the December minutes and also approval of the December 2024 invoices.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, approving minutes of December 16th, approve the bills to be paid for a total amount of $227,265.77.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Any questions from the board? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mary Frost. Yes. Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Karen Guyval. Yes. Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2. Item number 2 will be the public hearing and resolutions for the special assessment districts. We have 3 of them. I'll start out with the SAD for H. Eddy Drive. This is a public hearing and resolution for the special assessment district. This resolution is authorizing an SAD, which is a special assessment district for H. Eddy Drive. We will hold a public hearing for 3 special hearings, assessments at this time. But the first is H. Eddy Drive. And the board received petitions signed for more than 50% of the record owners based on the tax rolls of Oakland County, constituting more than 50% of the total frontage of the proposed SAD, requesting the amount of $360 per parcel for each of the next 5 years to cover snow plowing, removal, grading, chloride, and right-of-way brush removal on H. Eddy Drive, and a 5% collection fee for the township. Proper notice of the hearing has been published in the Oxford Leader and mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed SAD. The Office of Supervisor verified and determined that the petitions for the H. Eddy Drive SAD were properly signed by the record owners of 10 parcels with 16 signatures. 9 out of the 10 and 16 signatures of 81.3% of the residents on that street, and attached the petition for the board to determine. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing, and we'll call it, I think it's 617, because that one is slow. 617, and this is where we listen if anybody has anything they would like to say about the SAD. We don't comment, but this is where we do listen. So I'll say one more time, if anybody has anything, this is the public hearing for the SAD for H. Eddy, please just come forward if you have anything to say. And not hearing any. At that time, I'd like to close the hearing at 6:18. What would the board's pleasure be?
This is basically a renewal. It's been in existence. I'd like to move the resolution authorizing an SAD for H. Eddy Drive, a private road in Addison Township. Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any comments? Not hearing any, can we have roll call, please?
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Karen Guyval. Mary Frost. Yes. Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, that resolution is so moved. Now we'll move on to number 2 is an SAD for Ridgemont. The township received petitions signed by more than 50% of the record owners based on the tax rolls of Oakland County, constituting more than 50% of the total frontage of the proposed SAD, requesting the amount of $220 per parcel for each of the next 5 years, winter tax 2025 through winter tax 2029, to cover snow plowing, removal, grading, chloride, and right-of-way brush removal on Ridgemont Road, and 5% collection fee for the township. Proper notice of the hearing has been published in the Oxford Leader and mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed SAD. The Office of Supervisor verified and determined that petition for Ridgemont SAD was properly signed, and the record owners of 26 parcels with 42 signatures, or 64.3% attached to the petition for the board to determine the same. I'll open the public hearing. We'll call it 6:19. And at this time, if anybody in the public would like to come forward, please come forward if you'd like to talk about the SAD on Ridgemont. I'll ask one more time if you'd like to come forward on Ridgemont, so the board could hear any request. Not hearing any, I'd like to close the meeting at 6:20. Anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the renewal or creation of the special assessment district for Ridgemont Drive.
Okay, so we have a motion to move the resolution authorizing the SAD on Ridgemont. Do we have a second?
I'll support.
And we do have support. Any comments? Not hearing any, could I have roll call, please?
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Karen Guyval.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson?
Okay, that resolution is so moved. We'll move on to the resolution authorizing a special assessment district known as the Lighting District 1. Whereas the Township Board received petitions signed by more than 50% of the record owners, constituting more than 50% of the total land area of the proposed special assessment district, establishing a light district within Mill Mine, Maine, Race, land area and in Addison Township known as Lighting District 1, and requesting the amount of $80 per parcel for each of the next 5 years, winter tax 2025 through winter tax 2029, to cover the cost of existing street lights and a 10% collection fee for the township. And whereas proper notice of the hearing has been published and mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed district, was also published in the Oxford Leader. Whereas the Township Board hereby determines that the petition for lighting District 1 area assessment was properly signed by the record owners of 24 parcels with 16 of 30 and 30 signatures, which equaled 53.3%, and the attached petition is for the board to determine same.
We need to open it.
Pardon?
I forgot to put that. We need to open it here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do have to have an open hearing. And at this time, I'll call it at 6:21. We will have a public hearing on this one also, even though it's a lighting SAD. So if anybody'd like to come forward, I know that you went around and did the petition, right?
I can say positive things about it.
Very good. We like positive.
We live on Mill Mine, at the street across from the mill, and the lighting is detrimental for that area, for the roads that goes right down into the swamp, and not only for the people that are driving through the area, but people walk through the area. And if you remember, the other side of the street on Mill Mine did let their lights flash, and it is, you can't see your hand in front of your face to be walking there and driving. Our property is lit by those streetlights, which adds protection for me coming and going from my home, as well as personal property. And I didn't find any negative responses from anyone when I approached them for supporting this. And I figured if I can give up a Starbucks coffee once a month for $6.50, that'll pay for my.
There, very good. Well, and I will add that they're all going to be upgraded too. Okay, they're all going to be upgraded to LED lights, and I believe that we are taking care of that ourselves, because that's going to be above and beyond. So we are taking care of that because we got a small grant to do some of the other ones, so those we are including in it. So that should cut the electric bill down by 2/3, we believe. So hopefully we'll know the difference shortly but I think we had correspondence from DTE that says it will be one other town before us.
Yes, correct.
And then ours will be done. So that will help hopefully lower the cost also. Okay, so that's at 6:21. Anybody else would like to speak at that? This is the public hearing. Okay, I'd like to close that at 6:23. I'm open for
I'd like to move the resolution authorizing the special assessment district known as Lighting District Number 1.
I'll second.
and we do have a second. Okay. Any discussion on the board? We have a motion and a second. No discussion. Roll call, please.
Ed Brakefield.
Yes.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Karen Guyval. Yes. Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Resolution is so moved. We will have one more meeting, one more hearing next month, and then that will be approved. So thank you very much. Thank you for your efforts too on that. It does make a difference. It actually, it makes, we are the safest community in all of the state of Michigan, if you read the statistics. Yes, that's probably because of those lights. Okay, now we'll move on then. Move on to item number 3. Is the public hearing for truth in taxation and the 2025-26 fiscal year budget. Okay, this is the public hearing for the truth and taxation for the 2025-26 fiscal year budget. This is the public hearing for the budget and truth and taxation. I will read the following for the truth and taxation. Our taxable rates will not exceed the following for 2025-2026 year. General operating, the township collects .9966 mil. We operate the township on less than 1 mil. So everybody sees all their taxes. The township gets less than 1 mil. Everything else goes to the sheriff of Nottingham, or I mean to the county. Okay, so police, we collect 3.4720. Okay, that's for the police protection. Fire capital for the buildings and their improvements is .75, and then the fire operating is 3.75. So at this time, I'd like to open up the hearing, and I think we'll call it 3:25. This is where we listen, if anybody would like to come and talk to us about what the taxation is. And I'll ask one more time, if anybody would like to talk to us about the truth and taxation, those are the figures that we will be assessing. Well, if we don't hear anybody, then I'd like to close it at, we'll call it 6:27. The 2025-26 budget is presented to the public, and again, this is where we listen. I have opened it up and I've closed it. At this time, there's no further action. We'll adopt the final budget in February or March.
We have to open the hearing for the.
For which one?
The budget.
Oh, I didn't even get to that one yet. I don't have that one.
Yeah, it's right here.
Well, oh, okay, this is the second one. This is the budget one. Okay, the 2025 budget is presented to the public again. This is another public hearing for the budget. And anybody would like to talk to us, there's paperwork, I believe, out here.
Yep, it's in the back. What
And if anybody, pardon, well, we'll open up at 20, I'm running out of time here. 2029. Or, I'm sorry, it's 6:29. I'm still talking military time from my old days. So 6:29, and this is for the public hearing on the budget. If anybody would like, we've gone through the budget several months in advance, and so the board has looked at this, and now it's out for the public to look at it, and there are copies back there if anybody would like to look at it. But as you have known in the past, we have been very frugal on the budget, and we've never spent our budget because we get a lot of donations and a lot of volunteer work and different things like that. So, but again, this is the time, if the public would like to speak on the budget, this is the time to speak. And if I don't hear anybody, then we're going to close it at 6:30. At this time, there's nothing needed because we will then come back and approve the budget in February or March. It has to be approved by the end of March. Okay, now we'll move on to item number 4. Approve the fire department proposal for payment of Station Project 2. We need to approve the fire department's proposal for the payment of the Station 2 project. So we have an RFP before us tonight. We could ask we needed to ask prior to this for the actual cost. Jerry, as you know, is extremely good with money for the fire department. It came in a little bit higher than what we expected. This is for the improvement of the new fire station here. It's going to be redone completely. The township is growing. There's going to be some quarters in there for the firemen. Right now, the firemen are all up at the other station, but this one is going to have to be utilized in the future because we are growing. And Jerry is very good at saving us money. This came in a little bit higher, but Jerry has funds and he has prepared for this ahead of time. And so we'd like to loan him the difference for any of the improvements over there. And I think that that's a great thing because the public money is being used for the public safety. Even though the fire department has their own budget, I think that the township should by all means loan the township or the fire department the money, and we'll get it back over the years from the fire department. But to get the project completed, we're more than willing to step up and do that. And we're hoping that we'll come up with agreement with, for the transaction between our attorney and our auditor so that we'll come back at a later date on that. A motion is in order, first of all, is what I'm looking for, to approve the township lend the fire department $376,987 over a period of 4 years with an agreement approved by our legal. That's what I'm looking for. That was quick. You see how important the fire department is? Okay. Yeah,
Blue letters are an easy motion.
yes. Okay, so,
I would like to say, though, that I think a lot of this money that they have fallen short on is inflation. It's not that we have done anything or they have done anything. I think it's just everything costs more now.
well, it does when the bids came in, and, we deal with Rewald and Sons, and they have done an excellent job. I was at the bid opening with the chief, and there's one professional organization there, and we thank you. You did the township hall, and actually, we're under budget, so, but, yeah, they do an excellent job. So we have a motion, and we do have a second on that. Any further comments on that?
Question for Jerry.
Yes.
That $13 that you kind of went under could have been 134,539.
Oh, I see what
But you decided to make it $87. $13 making a difference. You want to be that exact?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So if there's no further comment, could I have roll call on that, please?
Yes, Mary Frost,
Yes.
Ed Wakefield, Karen Geibel,
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Supervisor Cruzen.
Yes. Okay. Very good, chief.
Thank you.
Don't spend it all in one day, though, okay?
The first hurdle.
Yeah, that's the first hurdle. Now we're on to number 5. Approve the fire department remodel as an administrative site plan review process. Okay. Well, Jerry, I know that you can explain the small addition that's on there. It's a 125 square foot addition, and it actually is extending one of the bedrooms a little bit out, so that I do understand that it's going to also enhance the exterior on the front view of the fire hall when you're on Rochester Road. This plan is mainly to remodel the interior of the building with only a minor adjustment to the current as-built site plan of approximately 125 square feet on the northern front area. This does not affect the current setbacks or the zoning issues and will not be increasing any of our current parking areas and not changing any of the utilities. What I'm asking the board is, we'd just like to make an administrative approval of this site plan without going through the whole thing again, because it's such a minor, if you, 125 square feet is somewhere like 9 by 14, 9 feet by 14 feet on the one front of the building. So that's what I'm asking for, if I could get your comments on it.
It's kind of, our planner did say it needs to go for a full site plan review. The bump out is so small. What we're trying to do, and then it can come back to the board later, is we're trying to streamline a process for an administrative review for site plans, so that if more people like Jerry come forward, we might have a process and we might have to amend our ordinance later. But it's a learning curve for both Jerry and myself, because we never done an administrative review. Our planner and our engineer have already started their reviews, and you received those notices. There were only minor hiccups that they saw that I'm sure that we're gonna tie those loose ends up. Mike's probably gonna get sick of hearing from me, but sorry about that. But we're gonna go down that road, and I think it's a great idea. It'll benefit Jerry, but it'll benefit more development in the township if our other commercial entities want to do something similar, so we have something to go by.
So I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion,
You go right
I'll
ahead.
make a motion to approve the fire department remodel as an administrative site plan review process.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any? This is gonna look great. The fire hall is gonna match the new township exterior, and it's gonna be updated, and we'll have quarters up there for our firemen. There's gonna come a time when they'll be living there also, like they do it up above, I'm sure. So, roll call, please.
Mary Frost.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield. Karen Gravel. Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Now we'll move on to number 6. This must be why Mike is here. Looking for a check. Okay. 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 Let me see, review the bids and recommendation for the fire station number 2 remodel. If applicable, we want to make the award. We have Mike Gagnon here from Rewald and Sons to inform us of the bid process and his recommendations. Mike, you got anything you'd like to just say? I know it went smooth, we were there, and,
No, it was took a little bit of time to get there. There were some things with the architect that we had to change and make due to heat codes, and also that the building over there was a pole barn construction, right? So we had to make some adjustments to that so that we could have the housing and so forth, keep things up to code. So the dollars came in a little bit higher than what we were expecting because of some of those additional code required items that we did. But the bid process went very well. We had good turnout on bids. I think the numbers are in the letter that we sent you, on the bids we received. And,
you know,
if anybody has any questions on any of those bids, the process went very well.
yeah, I was there, I was very impressed. Everything was done, I mean, you guys always do a good job. I just have to commend you on that, so, professional company.
One thing I really would like to say is, Rewald takes the time after somebody submits a bid, they make sure that they understood what the bid is. And, they go with the lowest price, but they wanna make sure that that contractor understands exactly his scope of work, which I thought was impressive.
Yes, very much so.
I was able to sit down
Yeah.
lots of those meetings.
I missed one day, I totally forgot that. The first one, I guess.
Must have been staying with someone's car.
Okay.
There you
Oh,
go.
I'll give you that excuse.
Okay, and Mr. Davis, our attorney, of course, reviewed all of this, and the amount was $1,345,318, which will be inserted in the agreement. And what I'm looking for is a motion to approve the contract recommendations from Rewald dated 1/9/25, contingent upon not to exceed the amount of $1,345,387.
I can go ahead and make that motion.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support, and we have something to add.
Yeah, a question on the motion. I wondered if we might want to,
Put the price in.
include that township inspections and reviews be paid for. They're not included in that bid quote. So the fire department is gonna be responsible for that. And and I'm offering that if we're gonna approve this, that we also approve it, that those costs for those services of inspection and reviews be paid 50% by the township and 50% from fire capital.
I'd like to revise that motion.
Unless you'd rather have a new motion.
Can I add
Go
some
ahead,
more?
you
Could I, no, I just want to add some more. Also, if there's any additional agreements or addendums coming forth from Rewald that they're gonna be reviewed by legal, and the completion of the administrative site plan items.
I kinda like my motions cut and dry. Pauline made some changes to Mike as well, and I see Pauline might have the notes down, and so I'd like to modify my motion
And
to Mike.
And I have spoken on this about the inspections. You know, the inspections are the responsibility of the community to do. And I look at that, the township, of course, will split the difference on the inspections because it behooves us that we want that to be done through our inspections also, so that we know that everything is right. And I think that's part of the responsibility of the township, not just the fire department. So that's why, Mike, I agree with him that the 50-50 split. But I am gonna talk to our inspectors also, so that we'll see what the fees are. You know, I hope that they're community-minded as we are. So,
Who's
But-
second?
I
pardon?
did, I'm just curious about how much the fees, the inspection fees.
The inspector fees might not be too much, and then also we'll have the engineer review, but since it's not really it's not like a building coming from scratch, I think it's gonna be minimal for that too. It's just hard to say because you don't know how many times they're gonna have to do the inspection.
Might be a few thousand, couple $1,000s.
And then the board would split that with the.
Yeah, like
Correct.
similar what we did with the library. Just out of curiosity, because,
You want me to read it from?
no, was it also in there contingent upon not to exceed the amount of?
Yes, I
Thank
put
you.
that in there. You want me to
Okay.
read it again? Hand it to me,
No.
Okay.
please. I'll read the motion again. I think it covers Mike's and everything.
Okay.
Approve the contract recommendation from Rewald dated January the 9th, 2025, contingent upon and not to exceed the amount of $1,345,387 to be inserted into the contractual agreement with any additional agreements or addendums to be reviewed by legal and completion of the administrative site plan, contingent on the inspections being divided by the township equally 50-50.
Or
Okay. Completion? That's Alabama version of completion, okay? Just, you know, he grew up in Alabama, okay? Completion. Okay, so we have the motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Mary Frost,
Yes.
Karen Geibel. Yes. Ed Brightfield, Mike McDonald,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Thank you very much, Mike. We look forward to working with you on this,
I
yeah.
should have said young.
Now we're on a resolution now for, oh, no, we're not gonna do this one because,
You need to tell us that.
amendment to the employee manual, number 7. I'd like to table this one because it's a moving target right now because okay, thanks, Mike. We just got word that there's legislation right now pending, and this is a moving target on the employee manual stuff. What's happening is that the state has mandated sick time for part-time people and different things like that. And now there's new bill that's being proposed, so we have time. It doesn't have to be approved until the end of February, so I think we'll table this if that's everybody's pleasure.
So moved.
Okay. Anybody
I'll support.
support?
Yes.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll table that. We'll hear from the state, and then next month we'll have to handle that. Okay. Now we're on item number 8, budget review. Okay, this is a review, so if anybody has any changes they'd like to do, we can go through this page by page, or we can just listen if anybody has any comments on the review and point out the page that you'd like us to look at. But right now, We're also working with the library to close on some property, so we have that in this budget, but if we don't get that closed, then we'll just add it to the 2025 budget. Does anybody have any, I know you've all had plenty of time to look through this now, we started really early this year. So, go ahead, Ed.
We briefly discussed with Pauline, with this, lawn for the fire department, should we make a line item to transfer from the, investments into a general fund for the fire department? We can't give it directly from the investment, but we can give it from the general fund, is that correct?
What's this line?
So it would be line item, it would be the next one, wouldn't it? Oh,
Transfer to fire capital.
that would be at 699,213.
Yep, but I think Mike has the numbers.
For the,
The transfer for next year's budget.
it would be a transfer into fire capital from,
It would go into fire
from general fund. Ed is right, we would take some of our invested monies, because it's not all in ready cash. We would, when those,
CDs.
CDs or T-bills, when they're, mature, we would, rather than reinvest them, we will, put them into cash and to be available for, the department. They're not gonna need all their money right away at one time, but we can prudently, cash those in as it happens. It's just not planning, not necessarily, but we've been using 9-month and 12-month financial vehicles just to allow us some more control over when we can take advantage of those funds. Does that answer the
Yeah, would
question?
we expect to see that number change as the,
Yeah, I would think that the number transfer to fire capital should be the 376,987. And then that's gonna be good for a whole year, Mike, so whenever you want to switch it to the fire, you can. And then
Right.
we should also increase the fire department budget that amount as well. Would that
agree.
be correct?
Yeah, I agree.
So it's
So-
376,987, so everybody agrees that we're gonna do that for fire, for 101,699,213.
what was that number again, Pauline?
101,000,699,213, and then we have to go to fire cap. Fire cap. There's a number called 213,000,699,101, transfer in from general fund. Is that where we should put
Yes,
that, Mike?
yes. that would-
So we're gonna put the 376,987 in that line item.
And Chief, may I ask you a question? They are looking at starting this project in the early spring.
Yes, I was just talking with Mike, and he said that they do take draws, and they're not gonna start until the end of March, beginning of April anyway.
Okay,
There's monthly draws on the amount of work done, and that dictates the amount of draw.
and what do you estimate the completion date to be?
He's saying October.
October,
end of
okay.
October,
So the last payments would be like in October.
That
Okay,
was one of Matt's items too, he wants that list of start date and completion date, so,
and plus you have money that you're putting into this. This money that we are presenting to the fire department will be paid back in 4 years to the general fund, so we will get that money back.
Jerry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you have your funds budgeted for the 25-26 budget. Do you think you need to amend the current year budget for any reason? Like, do you think you're gonna have to pay him any funds prior to April 1st?
Nope, I just asked him, yep.
So you're good, even you?
We're
Okay,
good. The only thing I will do now is just review my capital budget to reflect the transfer from the township in, and I'll just put that as a special line item there and add it, let's add them up a little bit. So I will have a couple corrections next month for the budget.
yeah, I'm gonna put that in, and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, anybody have some, yes,
I was just curious, why are we budgeting so much for the assessing? Like, why is it going up so much? I know we hired someone new, and really there was 2 people on that, and I remember the discussion, but why do you think it should be so high?
Where are we at?
On, the assessor wages,
What page?
sorry, page 2 of 16.
2,
And the number, Karen?
Assessor,
Oh,
assessor.
here, I see it.
Yeah,
down here.
I just, I mean, I don't know, why are we paying so much more?
What part are you asking about? Just what the,
What we're budgeting, the budgeting amount, the 68,225, like, why is it so high?
Well, the expiring budget, we've spent 61,723.92. That 35,000 is an amendment because we had to increase it due to the costs involved. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, as far as the wages, or was there something else?
we increased it 7,000.
The 68 is probably a reflection of the 4.9. Also, when we hired the new group, we added a couple hours extra per year, I think for 2 years, so that they could get us caught up, and then it's supposed to go down again. So as you can see in 23-24 activity, it was 44,000. So yes, there is extra budgeted in there in case they have to do additional work, or if they're picked to do their audit. So we have to have some extra. Doesn't mean that they're gonna use it all. So I think when they estimated the budget, the 61 was carried over and turned into the 68.
And right now, we have a lot of new homes coming online, and they have to actually physically go out there on the day that the building official is doing the final inspection. They're out there because that's how they make entry into the house with the building official. They have to then measure everything up and measure the exterior, interior to do the assessing. So they're putting a lot of extra work in going out with the building official at the time of the final. So, and there was some stuff that we needed to catch up because the county and the state are requiring more and more from the assessors every year, you know, so it's not like it was in the past. There are a lot of added duties that they have to perform now.
With the rate increase, it would only come out to around $3,000, so there is the extra probably for those 2 hours that we actually put in their agreement.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
You had mentioned to me earlier, Garrett would use the computer to do an aerial measurement. And these ladies are actually going out with a tape measure and measuring in person, so
Yeah,
that's a lot more time consuming and everything.
and that's the way you get the most I mean, the county is doing it by aerial, okay? They have a program that does that. But when you first get a house online, you actually want to go there. And you want to actually measure so that when you get the first assessment, it's right. Because the aerials don't tell us what's inside of the house. Is it 24 karat gold floors? Is it whatever? So when you get the very first assessment, we want to make sure it's right. So they are doing it the right way, which is you go there with the building official on the day of the final, so that they can then see it for themselves. But anyways,
I get that because when my house, I lost 100 square feet because my outside walls were 6 inches, not 4 inches. So for me to go into my house, I lost 100 square feet.
well, we can't give you a
I know.
refund.
That was many years ago. It's okay, but I didn't understand that till then.
That's true, yeah, it's living area, yeah.
The living area is different.
And a lot of the challenges at the border reviews traditionally are residents questioning the accuracy of our efforts, so to speak, so.
But look at the money you're saving on heat, because you have better
yeah.
insulation, so,
I'm
good with what I got.
okay.
Just really quick, back to Karen's point of 68, they're at 35,000 right now for 9 months. So you might want to just do recompute to see if you want to keep it at 68, even with the 2 hours, because they're at 35,000 for 3 quarters. So that's probably what you saw, huh?
Well, it just seems like it
What-
just seems like a lot since the budget. And it just,
Hey, Todd,
it just seems like a big
thanks for
jump, but I mean, I
coming.
get
Are
it,
you
but
leaving?
it just-
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I need to talk with you though, for the library, okay? When we get a chance, okay?
Are you
Okay.
okay with it, Karen?
With leaving it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
just wonder why
Yeah.
it's.
Does anybody else have anything else that they'd like to look at? I mean, our record is, we may have our budget set at a certain thing, but we never, we watch it very closely, and if it starts to look like we're using up an awful lot, sometimes we take other measures and slow it down by the end of the year or whatever, but we've never spent our budget.
I guess just knowing we have a new assessor coming in, that's what prompted me to be like.
Yeah, well, I will say that they're doing an excellent job, because they're actually out there in this weather doing the measurements. That's something that takes a lot of time. Anything else? Yes.
One of the things that, it's kind of like the elephant in the room, is that we just suffered it's not in our general fund budget, but with the police department, the sheriff's department increasing the cost of hiring deputies, it's a significant amount that if we didn't have some money saved in addition to what we normally spend on them, we'd be looking at hefty increases in short-term losses before we got to the end of next year's budget. So frugally, I think we've made some changes to address that, but it's gonna be a continuing problem. 37% over 3 years is a hugely significant amount of money when you're talking about a $1 million contract. So I want the board to be aware of that
Yeah,
it's not.
and Mike is right. The sheriff's contract ended, and the new one started January 1st. Our budget year doesn't start until April 1st, so even though they increased starting January 1st, we weren't prepared for that, but we were prepared because we had enough in the police budget that we could pay for the deputies until our new budget, April 1st. So we're able to absorb that increase that started for 3 months. We had to make up the difference. So we were able to do that without amending the budget, so. And then, of course, next year we'll put more in there for them, but
Or we create a police department.
Okay, we'll get rid of
yeah, that's, believe me, I've gone down that road, and the liability alone, the cost on insurance alone. See, the sheriff's department is self-insured through the county. But if you have to get liability insurance, it's astronomical. And the sheriff's department has a whole garage that fixes cars, and they buy the cars by the hundred. I've worked for a smaller department, and when the police have a chase and they crash a car, they have to wait till that one gets fixed, because they don't have the money to have a fleet of cars waiting, whereas at the sheriff's department, they just pull another one, brand new one out, fix the old one at their leisure, but you have a car. The insurance, the liability is, all the other township supervisors have talked to that, about that incident. Unless we do a regional police department with many townships, that's probably the only way we could afford it. But if you remember, years ago, in the 70s, there was a police department in Leonard, but it folded up after the CETA grants in 1975. When the CETA grants, those were the community block grants to hire people during the recession, and when the money ran out, so did the police department. So it was all by grants. I have a lot of history, okay? Not that I'm that old, but I do have a lot of history.
That's what I was thinking about, what I was doing in the 70s.
Yes. But anyway, so just so you know that, they give these grants and then after so many years, they expect you to pick up the grant and the money stops and many police departments folded up at that time because they couldn't afford it. But anyways, if we don't have anything else, I think we'll move on then.
Yeah.
Okay, item number 9. 2025-26 wage resolution for the clerk, fire department, treasurer, trustees, supervisor, and the wage compensation schedule. We went through the draft last month for discussion and direction. These are the final resolutions for the wages, unless there are any further questions. Motion is in order. If your motion includes all of the resolutions, I think we are good.
Before we jump to a motion, actually, while Linda was sick, she texted me and said, could you just bring this up? So if you go to page 2 of the wage compensation schedule, the thought process was member of the boards listed above 9518 for a meeting or a training session to round it to 100 so that they're paid an even dollar amount. And then the chair 125 versus 124.45 and then the secretary 105 instead of 102.47. So we're just doing a flat dollar amount.
Yes.
I know, it sounded really good when she said it.
So say those numbers again, I just found the sheet, sorry.
100 for the member of the boards listed above, 125 for the chair, and then, I don't know if it should be 105 or 110 for the secretary. So 105 is rounding to the nearest even dollar, or should they be 110? I mean, I don't care.
Say 105.
105?
Well, the question is what happens if if we budget a set amount and we've overspent?
They usually
if they have
fall
that many.
way below the amount we budget because the zoning board of appeals doesn't always have a case and the planning commission tends to cancel
Okay.
meetings as well. So there's plenty.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to the 25-26 wage resolutions for the clerk, the fire department, the treasurer, the trustees, supervisor, and the wage compensation schedule that reflects 100, 125, and 105 for the members of the boards.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussions? Could we have roll call, please?
Karen Gabel. Mary Frost.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, okay. Let me see. Oh, yes, that's on
Number 10.
item number 10, yeah, right. Well, it's kind of like number 10, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that passes. Okay. Item number 10, I have that right here. You know, a lot of these terms expire and it gets brought to my attention, of course, just before the meeting, so that's why we added this number 10 is, I have Eric Sent that needs to, his term expires on January 31st, 2025, so I need to reappoint him. And David Kostick on the Park Committee, his expires on February 14th before our next meeting, so I need to reappoint him. And
We also need an alternate for SEMCOG. And as soon as somebody volunteers, I'll be happy to make a motion.
well, who would like to volunteer? We have Mary who volunteered to be the representative for SEMCOG. I'll be an alternate?
Fill me in on all the stuff you do, though.
Okay, very good then.
As long as Mary promises to tell me what I have to do.
I will.
Yeah, SEMCOG's kind of a nice one if you want to
It
go to
is.
that. That's really,
Go to a lot of nice places and parks and
Ooh,
things
okay.
like that, yeah.
yeah. And try to get us some grants because Orion Township gets all kinds of grants from SEMCOG.
Okay,
They got their bike paths, all of that. They got grants from SEMCOG because they're the ones that
do,
disperse the money.
that's what they do, is they
Yes,
give grants
so-
out.
Yeah, so try to
Okay.
take a lawyer with you so that we can get some of that money. Thank you.
No pressure, no pressure, yeah.
Okay, so,
Make a motion to appoint Eric Sant for a 3-year term to the Planning Commission, David Koskic for a 3-year term to the Park Committee, and as SEMCOG alternate, Karen Geilo.
okay, any further discussion? Well, I think all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? They so are appointed. Okay, public forum. Anybody in the public would like to speak? In the public, this is where we listen. You've said enough, chief. Okay. And we'll move on to Addison Township Board reports. Anybody on all the boards? Anybody have anything to add? Anything cable? Anything SEMCOG? Anything? How about you, Ed? Nobody?
In the future, in the upcoming future, we're gonna be looking at the NODA, what is it, the rules, what is it on the NODA?
The driver
With our,
personnel rules,
Yeah, the
basically.
and it's gonna come to this board for review, so.
Oh, you're talking about the intergovernmental agreement?
Right. and
Oh,
thank
Yeah,
you.
that, it expires this year.
So
Another thing.
we'll be getting a copy of that for us to review.
It'll,
Actually, the cable commissioner interlocal expires too, so.
Oh, okay.
That'll be coming to us, but I'll know more on that next Monday.
Very good. Okay, we don't have anything else, and we have communications, do we
We
not?
do. We received a letter from the supervisor, Chris Barnett, and fire chief, Ryan Allen from Orion Township, and they were commending our fire department for responding and interlocal agreement, not interlocaling. So I thought that was really nice.
And that was we covered why they handled that big fire. Which fire was that?
gas
The
explosion.
explosion.
Yes.
at Orion.
And, just a side note to all you, that Ryan Allen, chief of Warren, was on our fire department several years ago for 2.5, 3 years. Back
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
97 to 99. This is a little
Nice.
tidbit.
Very
I
good.
remember when he was young.
Okay. Any other, nothing else? Okay. And as far as supervisor's report, all I got to say is stay warm. The kids aren't in school tomorrow. Can't have little kids sitting out there waiting for a bus in this weather. So, so if you have kids, stay home with them, So, other than that, I'm looking for an adjournment. Anybody?
We adjourn.
We have a motion and a support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are so adjourned. Thank you very much.